magnificent upper lake of Bhopal and its vast catchment forms a perfect wetland landscape. This lake was built by Raja Bhoj, the legendary 11th century ruler. The lake drains a catchment of 361 square kilometers and its estimated storage capacity is 120 million cubic meters. The people of Bhopal have a symbiotic relationship with this lake, as it remains the main source of potable water. It also offers the most modern water sports facilities. The citizens have developed a unique rhythm of life that revolves around this lake, and it is their constant endeavor to conserve and protect this water body. One end of this lake touches the densely populated old city that still retains the old world charm. The other end of the lake and its catchment, a large part of it constituting the Van Vihar National Park, is an excellent habitat for all kinds of birds, both resident and migratory. Fish eaters like cormorants do not possess the waterproofing oil that other birds have, so they spend a lot of time drying their wings. Their hooked bills and bare pouches help them deal with fishes. Little cormorant is mainly found on inland waters and lives exclusively on fish. Little cormorant is an expert diver. It chases and captures fish underwater. It is often seen perched on a stump or a branch, drying itself with outstretched wings. Large cormorant is resident and local migratory. The breeding cormorants are distinctly identified by the white color of their breast. Indian cormorant breeds in tropical Asia. It is a resident bird and is also a seasonal migrant. Stilt-a-wader has distinctive pink legs, longer in proportion to its body. Here an adult stilt stands guard as the little ones pick food oblivious of the lurking danger. The odds are heavily against these weaklings. It wades into water to pick small aquatic insects. Its thin elongated bill helps in probing the mud to search for food. Stilt is also a resident and local migratory bird. Black-winged stilts are found near marshes and ponds. Their nests are depressions in ground near the edge of water bodies that are usually lined with vegetable scum, leaves, and reeds. Common teal is a regular winter visitor. It has a beautiful black, green and buff colored wing speculum. It is a small-sized, highly gregarious duck. When not breeding, they are seen in large flocks. Their habitat includes marshes, ponds and marshy lakes or sheltered wetlands. Common teals feed by dabbling for plant foods. It is a noisy species often seen in groups, and one can spot them whistling and quacking persistently. Common teal is a winter visitor throughout India. They come from the Himalayas or even as far as northern Europe and eastern Siberia. They flock near tanks and marshes. Largely vegetarian, they look for grains, shoots of rice, and marsh plants in thick, muddy areas. Brahmini duck, which is now called Rudi shelduck, is a beautiful orange-brown duck. It is another winter migrant to open lakes in India. It generally breeds in high-altitude areas of Ladakh, Tibet and Jammu and Kashmir. It starts arriving in the capital of the central Indian state of Madhya Pradesh that falls exactly on the migratory bird's north-south corridor around October each year and starts its return journey by April. Rudi shelduck is seen in pairs or small groups and rarely forms large groups. It feeds on grains, vegetable shoots, tubers, aquatic insects, mollusks and reptiles. Spot-billed duck is found all over India in wetlands and freshwater vegetation. It is a large brown duck with a scaly pattern and a yellow spot on the base of its bill. Spot-billed duck breeds in Asia and is more or less a resident in various parts of India. Male and female spot-billed ducks communicate by moving their heads up and down. To attract the female, the male duck displays its swimming abilities with sharp twists and turns. It cleans its feathers, arranges them, and is often seen busy trying to woo a partner. They are mostly to be spotted in pairs, and it's a treat to watch them elegantly glide on the shimmering water surface, one behind the other. The watershed of Bhopal's upper lake, also called the Bhoj wetland, which is designated a wetland of international importance under the International Ramsar Convention, at once becomes a home for these winter visitors. Glossy ibis derives its name from its deep maroon-brown plumage. Glossy ibis is always busy picking small fish, worms, insects, and lizards along marshy edges. What is unique about white ibis is that its head and neck are bare. It is found near water bodies and ponds and nests in trees, often with other species. The coombe ducks usually fly together when they migrate. Sometimes the coombe ducks may even separate themselves into different groups. The male is larger than the female and has a large black knob on the bill. Northern pintail is a bird of open wetlands. It is a migratory bird that breeds in the northern areas of Europe and Asia. It is easily seen mixed with other ducks. Its name is derived from its long black pointed tail. Pintail feeds on seeds of aquatic plants and aquatic insects. This large egret is a study in concentration. It is all cocked up to pounce on its prey. A fish is spotted. A failed first attempt. Never mind, another try, and here this was not on target. It usually feeds alone in shallow water. Egret waits motionless for its prey. Its long sharp bill is a perfect tool for stalking fish, frogs, snakes and other forms of aquatic life. Egrets are resident throughout the subcontinent and can be spotted easily near ponds, marshy areas and rivers. There are large egrets, intermediate egrets and little egrets. Large egrets are lean, snow-white marsh birds. Their feet and bill are black when breeding, but the bill becomes rich yellow when not breeding. Egrets are widespread and common. The destruction of wetlands poses threat to these birds. Wetlands provide an opportunity to different species like herons, storks and egrets to coexist with crocodiles, alligators and gharials. The picture here shows perfect harmony and ecological balance in a typically protected and conserved habitat. Adult painted stork is magnificently colored and neatly tailored, with a delicate pink color on the lower back. It has a long down-curved yellow bill. It's a fantastic sight to watch the storks in flight. Storks are resident and local migratory throughout India. They can be spotted near marshes, rivers and water bodies in open forests. They stand still in water waiting to catch their prey. Storks walk slowly or wade in shallow water. They feed on frogs, fish and snakes. In the mellow sunlight, painted storks take their position near a fallen old tree. These dull juveniles will soon attain beautiful feathers and grow up to 100 centimeters. Painted storks walk slowly and steadily on the ground in open plains. Like other storks, they feed on fish, frogs and large insects. They are the quiet sort and prefer to spend the day drying their wings and spreading them towards sunlight. Lesser whistling teals are more or less resident near ponds and shallow water bodies. They converge in small flocks near reed-covered tanks and village ponds and feed on tender shoots, grains, small fish, frogs, snails and aquatic weeds. They are resident but move locally all over India south of Himalaya. They are named after the musical whistle usually heard at night. They give whistling calls during their slow and short flights. Little green heron is a small dark heron with yellow legs. The little green heron feeds alone or in pairs. It is solitary and shy. It sits with patience near isolated ponds and preys on a wide variety of insects, frogs, small fish, and crabs. Here is a juvenile night heron on a reconnaissance mission near a pond's edge. Not far away is this solitary grey heron. There is very little competition for food around this wetland. As the day progresses, life moves at its normal pace in this wetland landscape. Here is a jackal. Soon a wild boar also appears on the scene and drives away the jackal. The jackal is undeterred and gets his share of water from Mother Nature. And so does the wild boar. Stilts and sandpipers are a common sight along the edges of shallow waterholes in open country and forests. The bronze-winged jacana is busy searching for food. They are found throughout India. They can be spotted near lakes, wetlands, and their nest is a skimpy pad of twisted weed stems on floating leaves, often partially submerged. They are able to walk on floating vegetation due to their long feet and claws. They are waders and feed on insects and other invertebrate picked from the floating vegetation or the water surface. They prefer to remain in small groups during winter and summer. They move slowly and even a small flutter of leaves in their vicinity puts them on alert and they silently leave the spot, taking a low flight. Pheasant-tailed jacana are local residents throughout India. They thrive near vegetation-covered ponds and wetlands. They feed on aquatic insects, mollusks, and vegetable matter. They have a black necklace on upper breast, spiderly elongated toes, and a pointed spur on the bend of the wing. Greater painted snipe are resident throughout India and are found near reed-covered swamps, marshes, wetlands, and paddy fields. They are clumsy flyers. At times, one can also spot the common snipe in the same habitat. Purple heron is a solitary bird often seen fishing alone. Herons have dagger-like bills suitable for catching frogs and fishes. Purple heron is resident and local migratory throughout India. Here is a darter perched in the midst of these cormorants on a tree canopy. Darters are frequently referred to as snake birds because of their long, thin neck, which gives a snake-like appearance when they swim with their bodies submerged. Gargani is a winter visitor from northern Europe to eastern Siberia. They are swift flyers and land near marshes when winter sets in. Black-tailed godwit has a long, straight bill. Cotton pygmy goose, also called cottontail, is a small perching duck. Freshwater lake is a perfect habitat for this neat duck, which feeds on vegetation, especially water lilies. White wagtail is a winter visitor. Their continuous tail wagging protects them from predators that might try to pounce from behind. Due to continuous degradation of its habitat, it is now a rare sight to spot a grey wagtail. It is another winter visitor found near wetlands and waterways. It breeds in Himalayas but is found in winters throughout India. Here a citrine wagtail or the yellow-headed wagtail is fighting for its position with a sunbird. This winter visitor from places like Lahaul Spiti and Ladakh in the Himalayas walks cautiously or makes swift dashes, hunting for insects or small snails around marshes and in areas under wet cultivation. White-browed wagtail is larger than other wagtails. Wire-tailed swallow is resident and local migratory. It is seen in large flocks near open cultivation areas or near water bodies and running streams. Stalk-billed kingfishers are the largest of all kingfishers and have beautiful orange color around their chest. Small blue kingfisher is found throughout India near ponds, wetlands, and reservoirs. It frequently bobs its head and jerks its tail. The rhythm gets broken only when it dives into water from a perch to catch its prey. It is mostly seen alone, sitting on an overhanging branch. White-throated kingfisher is the commonest of the species and can live on insects, lizards, and other small terrestrial life forms. This is one big reason for its widespread presence. Pied kingfisher's habitat is always around water. Sandpipers and other waders pick food by sight. They go for a wide variety of prey and eat almost everything they can catch, from minute invertebrate to worms, insects, spiders, and centipedes. These waders feed restlessly, running deliberately along the water's edge, visually locating prey on the surface. Night heron is a nocturnal bird with a black crown on its head. Night heron have long white crests and blood-red eyes. It is stocky, short-legged and short-necked with a medium-sized pointed bill. They are shy and prefer to remain aloof during the day and at dusk leave in groups to feast through the night in the feeding marshes. Crocodiles spend long hours in freeze frame waiting for their prey right under the trees where the night herons or other species of birds make their nests. Langur, one of the common monkeys in central India, plays an important role in preserving the ecosystem. They thrive on fruit-bearing trees and help in seed dispersal. Cheetal or spotted deer, one of the most beautiful of the antelope species, have a symbiotic relationship with monkeys as they get a ready supply of food just by standing beneath trees that also sustain the monkeys. Of course, the antelopes play their own role in maintaining the meadows and shrubs, so essential for the ground to retain water and moisture and also help in regenerating the green cover. The ecological chain cannot be complete without insects, reptiles, rodents, herbivores, carnivores, and birds. There would be only a few standing trees and no living forest that can regenerate itself without the protection of the biotic pyramid. On the other side of the upper lake are villages where people have taken to large-scale cultivation. The water's edge here is swampy. It is possible to spot a purple swamp hen or two on reaching the other side of the lake. This bird is mostly seen near isolated water bodies along with other water birds like the stilts, jacana, and sandpipers. Where the forest ends and food cultivation begins, ecology starts facing biotic pressure through the use of pesticides and chemical fertilizers. Upper Lake is also a habitat for one of the largest birds of India, the Saras crane. The Saras habitat stretches over a marshy edge of the upper lake, bordering a landmass under cultivation. Due to modern-day agricultural practices, the Saras population is fast declining. In an urban setting, purple swamp hen can be seen near sewage ponds and swampy reed beds. Its food primarily consists of shoots and organic matter, but it also eats insects and mollusks. Another of the species, the common moorhen, has white stripes on sides of its undertail. They inhabit marshes and ponds and use their toes to wade through hyacinth and walk along the floating vegetation. While the kingfisher enjoys a bite, a pond heron, also a common breeding resident, feeds near a sewage. Sitting on a stump nearby is a sandpiper, waiting for its turn to catch a prey. Urban sewage channels become a habitat for many wagtails, sandpipers, pond herons, and egrets. These birds are potentially threatened by the toxic chemicals continuously being released into our water bodies. This polluted water channel, choked with garbage and polythene, is hardly a deterrent for these hapless creatures. Here is a group of cattle egrets living off the slush and scum. Solitary red-wattle lapwings are always vigilant as they move suspiciously searching for insects and tubers. Here is a jacana and a lapwing. Both have found shelter in this low-lying swampy area near the upper lake. A pond heron also feeds nearby. The white-breasted water hen that runs for cover at the slightest sound is busy cleaning itself perched on a branch. It climbs trees often when breeding. It is found near reed-covered marshes, ponds, tanks, and paddy fields. It feeds on shoots of aquatic vegetation, insects, and worms. This pack of geese is virtually domesticated. What is important is that birds should thrive in natural surroundings. Bhopal's Upper Lake is a perfect home for this beautiful family of geese. There are so many species of birds that are either extinct or on the verge of extinction. Their conservation and survival depends on mankind. Even the survival of mankind is linked directly to our efforts aimed at conserving the wetlands. Birds are the most common indicators of environmental change. Continuous decline of many species sends a clear signal about the health of our environment. Birds are beautiful. Birds are an important link in our already fragile ecological chain as they control the insect population and contribute immensely in seed dispersal and the pollination process. Wetlands are crucial for maintaining groundwater and green cover. A poet has so aptly said, "When birds in ragged rows depart, I lose a little of my heart. And when those birds once more arrive, I remember I am alive."